Circumstances, I think I did a hell of a job. I had a lot on my mind coming into the fight. I had to try to balance that. And I definitely felt from the first fight that I was a better fighter, but I just had to carry over in this fight and show what I have learned. And I believe I showed that I'm not only a puncher and a brawler, that I can, if I need to box and win a fight, I can do that. So I felt that I did a good job tonight.
Seth, what did you see in this fight that was different from the first fight in November?
It was just a learning experience. I didn't go into the first fight underestimate Johnathon Banks, but I'm naturally a very aggressive individual, and after watching the first fight, I was the bull the whole time, and he's a counterpuncher, and I knew that going into the fight, but I just got overzealous after I won the first round, hands down, and he caught me with some counter shots, and we went back to the drawing board, and I was bending a little bit too far at the knee, bending over, not at my knees, and that's just something that I worked on, staying with my jab, balance. The acronym that I came up with this fight was PBAD, patience, balance, and distance, and I figured if I stay with that I could definitely get the win.
He was able to hurt you again. How do you get through that? How do you get through that round?
Again, it was a learning experience. Watching the first fight when I got dazed, I tried to grab him by the waist, and he was able to step back and did what he was supposed to do, keep punching. This time, I tied him up, and then when the ref broke us, I stayed tight. My defense was tight, and I didn't try to brawl with him. And that's something that we worked on over and over again in the gym. Kudos to my trainer, Andre Hunter. Had a great training camp.
Would you say your jab was a difference in this fight? Because you do a lot of them.
I definitely would say that my jab was a big key to this fight, but just being patient, and even when I was catching him, not getting reckless and not lunging and reaching. And if I came out and lunged and reached, the same thing could have possibly happened in this fight. And that was just my main focus, was to stay patient. I know I can, go 12 rounds. I know that was a question to a lot of people because I've been knocking everybody out, but I trained extremely hard, and so the distance, wasn't in my mind at all.
Seth, talk about the knockdown in the first round.
I hit him with a jab, and then I stepped back, and he tried to grab me, and I stepped to the side and hit him with a chopping right hand. I was kind of like on the side. It was an equilibrium shot. I don't think he was, really hurt. But watching the fight, watching Johnathon Banks, he makes a lot of mistakes as well, like lunging and reaching, and that's what he did. So I don't think it was an extremely hard shot, but he was off balance. Got caught and went down in a 2-point round.
Looks like you were getting knowledge after round after round. It looks like your confidence, your jab, things were coming together, it seems, after you had the rocky start.
Absolutely. I wouldn't necessarily say that I had a rocky start. I had a rocky round, the round that I got, hurt in. But I think I dictated the first 2 rounds with my jab. I feinted him. I was really excited about this fight because I truly believe from the last fight I was a better fighter, and I was, a little not anxious, but I couldn't wait to get in the ring because I wanted to see in sparring and in the training camp I was doing things that I hadn't been doing before, but it means nothing if you don't carry over into the fight, and that's why I was anxious about the fight, and I think I carried over a lot. I know a lot of people didn't want me to take the rematch, they thought it was like too soon, but I truly felt that I was a better fighter than Johnathon Banks, and I proved it.
Seth, do you think that Johnathon Banks was 100%? Because it seems like after the 3rd round when he hurt you, he just died out, and the rest of the fight he was lackadaisical.
Not my problem. I don't care if he was 100%. Had a fight, it is what it is. If he wasn't 100%, he wasn't 100%. Am I supposed to take it easy on him?
No, I'm not asking you that, but I mean, you being in the ring with him twice now, did he look the same? Did he look less than 100% to you?
No, I think that he didn't expect me to box and move and use my jab the way I did. I thought he thought that I would retreat back to old form, being aggressive, brawling, coming forward. So I think that, threw him for a shot. I have a beautiful jab. Sometimes I leave it at home, but that was one of my main focuses is just to do what I've been doing in sparring and in training. And I know sparring isn't fighting, but just have courage. I was very confident about this fight.
Where do you go from here?
I'm gonna sit back with my team. I think this fight right here shows the type of man that I am, the character that I have to not only take a rematch after getting stopped in the first round. They show that I can box. I'm just getting better. I'm still learning. At the same time, I realize I have to win and learn on this level, and this is the level that I want to be on. I sit back with my team, I'm clearing my mind for boxing for about 2 weeks. I'm not thinking about boxing. Go home and enjoy my family.
Is it discouraging at all that this is your third fight in a row where you've suffered some sort of, been shaken up in the ring?
It's boxing. Fight through adversity. That's what life is about. You know what I mean? Quality upon a lot of people talk about, I haven't been coddled or babied at all. I fought at 9-0. I fought the Zach Pages. I fought the Jamil Barnes. I fought names like that, the Timur Bragmore. It's boxing. I'm 6.5 years I've been boxing. I'm still learning, but I'm getting better, so it doesn't bother me at all. I just got to continue to stay humble, stay focused, and go to the top.
Looks like your counter was caught him by surprise a little bit. You countering him.
Yeah, a lot of people, they don't know that I can, box. I've been blessed. God has blessed me with the athletic. I got nice size, nice weight, and I got one punch power in both hands and a beautiful jab. And sometimes, I don't know why, I just don't use all of my tools. And after this was a wake-up call. At this level, you're going to have to, you can't run through everybody. You're going to have to, sometimes sit back, box, the crowd may boo, but, hell, if I went out there and started lunging and reaching and brawling and got stopped, then they'd be laughing. So I blocked the crowd out and I just won. It was a one-round fight for me, win each round.
Did you feel you hurt him along the way?
I wouldn't say I hurt him, but he felt my presence in there. He felt my presence with some body shots. With a couple of jabs, we call them, shotgun jabs. I hit him with a couple of shotgun jabs, and I think he felt, I wouldn't say I hurt him, but he was definitely, dazed a little.
Did he hurt you?
Hey, you saw the fight. I mean, I was dazed. I had to, I had some cobwebs. I was buzzed a little bit, but it's a part of the territory, and it was just a learning experience. That happened to me in my last fight. I wasn't able to, get out, but I tied him up and I stayed tight with my defense.
Seth, do you see a need for a third fight?
I talked to my promoters and see what's. I don't believe we have a rematch clause in our contract, and I can honestly say if I didn't have a rematch clause in my first contract, he wouldn't have fought me again. So we'll see what happens.
Seth, Mayhem is the next great American heavyweight. Do you think you're the next?
I believe I have the tools and the potential to become the next American heavyweight. I'll let you all say that. I just continue to work hard. I believe in myself. I believe that I can be, the heavyweight champion of the world. But I got to continue to work hard. And I think I got a good chance. I got a good team around me, and I'd be remiss if I didn't mention, my trainer right here, Andre Hunter, because everybody, once you lose a fight, you need a new trainer. You need this and you need that. Everybody starts somewhere. And we're gonna go to the top together. This is a man that he doesn't care about Seth Mitchell the boxer. He cares about Seth Mitchell, and that's something that I love and I cherish about him. And he's a hell of a trainer. And we're gonna just continue to work hard. My team, Al Heyman, my manager, Sharice Salim, Lawrence Shabak, and Chris Ray, my cut man, Golden Boy. I got a great team, and I put myself in a position where all I have to do is win, and the future can be really bright for me.
That's it? Anybody else? Okay, Seth, thanks. Very nice. If you're a little patient, but they should be, one of them should be on this way. I'm campaigning hard at this late hour.
Listen, so, was that more than just a friendly picture?
Did you just see the fights tonight, man?
We asked for Bernard to talk to
But
Bernard.
it ain't my time and place now to talk about me.
No. The reason we made it your time is because the fighters are busy.
I'm not thirsty to have a conversation with the media on somebody else's success tonight. And I look at Broner and I look at Mitchell. I look at the guys that fought today, some that made a comeback because of their last fight, which is Mitchell, along with his personal problems that he had to endure. I think that it's appropriate that you give tonight's winners, and even the guys that didn't win, that put the sincere effort to try to win, the respect, and that's how I feel today. Because me, it ain't about me right now. It's about what you've seen tonight. It's about what the fans got in Brooklyn, and that's more important than what Bernard Hopkins will say about myself today. There will be you want to stay undefeated, and so I think it's a plus for him because he's young enough, 23 years old, to add on to what he already knows now. And he's going to get better. He's going to get better. I mean, one thing, love him or hate him, you cannot say that he's not going to get better at 23 years old. They all get better. They all get better. And that's where the time is on his side to get better.
Bernard, do you think he has a problem with bigger punches at 147?
No, I haven't witnessed that. I haven't witnessed that. I think he take punches on his arms and shoulders and not in his head. He has a defense that some would say looks like Mayweather. I think he has a defense the opposite. I think he might do certain things subtly that Mayweather does, but Broner stays in the pocket more, and he risks himself a little bit more to be able to trade with the other guy. We've seen it tonight with Paulie. But Paulie never been, and he would admit to that when he gets here. If you ask him about, do he think he's a big puncher? We all know he's not a big puncher. But he can throw punches in volumes and punches where he can win rounds where they are close and some are even. But that what kept him in the game tonight. What kept, I think, in the game tonight is the way he threw punches and the volume, the way he threw punches and punches, the way he did.
Did you agree with the score?
Yeah. Yeah, I thought Broner won. I wouldn't have been surprised if it was I wouldn't have been surprised if it was even a unanimous decision. But I'm not saying that a split decision was the wrong score because it was some close rounds. You watched that fight from 1 to 12. I was ringside, had the opportunity and the blessing to commentate the fight along with Al Bernstein and a couple of guys. And I'm up on it and I'm seeing, and I know what I'm looking for, and I've seen volume punches coming from Paulie, and I've seen accurate, effective punches, right, coming from Broner. And I've seen 1 or 2 times in that fight, I've seen Broner hurt Paulie a couple of times. Not to the point where it was any, like, close to any knockdown, but his body language showed that he was affected by it, and Paulie got really stung by a couple of shots and got, all on his bike and retreat a little bit, which was smart. Because, you hurt and you try to fight, you're going to get either knocked out, you're going to get, even hurt. All right.
Bernard, question on Malignaggi. Did he do better than you expected? To me, he really had like a moral victory.
He's in Brooklyn. He was born not too far from this stadium. He has that Italian heart of biggest New York where he's home. I don't know about you, but ain't too many people gonna go in your house and beat you up in your house. So he gave that spirit and also his talent and his experience of having multiple championship opportunities in 2 or 3 divisions. So I wasn't surprised that Paulie put up the fight that he put up because he always showed heart. I mean, that's one thing that you can't say about Paulie is that he won't go down swinging. And tonight you've seen him being really outpowered by really a bigger guy and a more faster and accurate guy, and got hit with some right hands from the 3rd round to the 12th. He was getting nailed with right hand counter shots that he didn't back down from. And that's where it's at. That's where it's at. But Broner did what he had to do, and he pulled it out, and he showed maturity in this fight, as far as I'm concerned.
A question for Richard real quick. Obviously, you're always thinking a step or 2 ahead. What would you like to see next with Broner?
Well, we have to first see if he wants to stay at 147 or not. But I just want to quickly add about Paulie's performance. I think tonight was Brooklyn pride. Brooklyn pride and Brooklyn heart. And what Paulie showed tonight is certainly nothing, absolutely nothing to be ashamed of. I think for Adrian, the question is going to be, does he want to stay at 47 and defend his title? Does he want to move to 140? He still is the lightweight champion as well. He didn't give up that belt yet. I don't see him going back down to lightweight. So we have to see what he wants to do. But, like, for example, a fight between Adrian and a Marcus Maidana, I would love to see that as a fan. So there are many good names there. I mean, the division is so deep. There's Amir Khan, there's Devin Alexander, there's Victor Ortiz, there's Roberto Goes Guerrero. I mean, the names, they go on and on. So there are going to be some big fights for Adrian. And I think, I'm not a boxing expert, obviously. Bernard knows the sport a million times better than I do. But I think the way maybe Adrian got hit tonight and so on is as well because he knew that Paulie couldn't hurt him. And I think you fight a different fight than if you would go and fight a Marcos Maidana, where you know it's a big puncher. So I think we probably have to take that into consideration as well.
Richard, Broner said during the week, and repeated, I believe, in the ring again tonight, that he intends to allow the fans to pick his next opponent. Would you support his effort to do that?
I have no problem with that.
Yeah, what if the fans pick Floyd Mayweather?
I have no problem with that.
Marcos Maidana is the mandatory per the WBA. Are you going to push that fight?
I'm not going to push fights. I like to make the best fights, and I think that in my opinion, is at 147 one of the best fights you can make. That's just my opinion as a fan. I'd like to see it. Because Adrian Broner will never be in a boring fight, and we all know that Marcos Maidana will never be in a boring fight. Now you put those two guys together, I can even do the matchmaking. Right, Bernard?
That sells itself.
Exactly.
So, we should talk
So
about
where do we
something
stand
else.
with dealing with issues?
Schaefer, you might as well take this time to talk about Garcia Matisse.
Oh, that's a good question. What do you want to know?
The rumor is it's not done because Danny Garcia wants $5 million. Is there any truth to that?
I haven't heard those rumors. No.
What's the real deal?
Well, you know, Danny Garcia is the kind of fighter who never backs down of fighting anybody, and a lot of people gave him virtually no chance when he went in and fought Amir Khan, and you see what happened. And these kind of tough fights, they motivate a fighter like Danny Garcia, and I think all of you should have learned by now that one thing you cannot do is count Danny Garcia out. So there is no issue. You know, just have to find the right spot, the right date, but both fighters want to fight, and you know, usually we get those big fights done, and I know that that's one of those fights fans want to see. I think, you know, everybody asked me about Mayweather and Canelo, can you get it done, can you get it done, and then one day, one evening, the announcement came out, we got it done, and I think it took everybody a bit by surprise, because nobody expected it. Everybody doubted that Floyd would commit to fight back-to-back in such a short period of time, and that he would actually go and fight somebody like Canelo, but Floyd Mayweather did, and so did Canelo, and I think I'm going to do the same here. Monday, in the next couple of weeks or so, I'm going to announce that that fight is done. And I'm going to let you guys know when and where, and hopefully all show up.
Richard, would you say that September 7th date, is that still a working date?
No, we have a lot of dates, so I mean we have so many dates. So that's exactly what I want to do. Is we're going to start on Monday. Make sure you guys are all going to be there at the press conference for Mayweather and Canelo from Times Square. So I'm going to be spending 10 days on the road and going to have some time to talk with the president of sports for Showtime, Steven Espinoza, and see where we can slot in those different fights. But there is a lot of good fights. One card which I mentioned already, some of you might have heard about it, is August the 24th. August the 24th is going to be a doubleheader from Carson with Abner Mares, looks like against Johnny Gonzalez. Both fighters have verbally agreed to the fight. And then the purse bid which we want, Leo Santa Cruz moving up in weight, fighting Victor Terrazas. A great doubleheader, and we will have another sellout in Carson at the facility there. And then we have potentially something on August the 31st. We have September 7th. I'm going to be talking to Steven as well about Bernard's next fight. We all know that the IBF had ruled late yesterday that Murat is installed as the mandatory again. So